I love Fruits Basket. A lot. It's one of my favorite anime. I love both the original anime and the 2019 remake for their beautiful stories, music, and of course, in regard to the remake, beautiful animation. But what stands out to me the most about Fruits Basket is its deep and complex cast of characters. Every character is fighting a unique internal battle to cope with the trauma they have endured. Fruits Basket isn't just your typical romance where girl meets boy, falls in love, and the boy falls harder. It's also a story of mental health and the unique coping mechanisms the characters use to cope with the events in their past. To begin, I'll explain the basic plot of Fruits Basket. It's an anime about the Soma family, a family cursed to transform into the animals of the Chinese zodiac when hugged by someone of the opposite sex. When the main character, Toru Honda, meets Shigure, Yuki, and Kyo Soma and discovers their secret curse, her life suddenly becomes complexly connected with the lives, secrets, and curse of the Soma family. I also feel it's important to provide some background information on the folklore behind the Chinese zodiac. There are slight variations, but the general idea is the same in all of them. The way they tell the story in the show is that one day, God wanted to hold a banquet for Chinese New Year and invited 13 animals: a rat, dragon, dog, boar, sheep, snake, rabbit, monkey, horse, ox, tiger, rooster, and a cat. However, the rat lied to the cat about the day of the banquet, so the cat never arrived. The day of the banquet arrived, and the animals lined up without the cat, and the order they arrived in is their order in the cycle of the Chinese zodiac, the rat being the first. With all that out of the way, Toru, Kyo, and Yuki are the three main characters of the show, so I'll be discussing them for this video. First, Yuki. Yuki is the Soma cursed by the rat zodiac. As you may recall from the story of the zodiac I just explained, the rat was the first to arrive at the banquet after lying to the cat about when it was. These parts of the story correlate to and are very important to understanding Yuki's both internal and external conflicts. First of all, the one born as the rat zodiac is highly revered within the Soma family, because it is the first in the cycle. This caused Yuki to be put on a pedestal ever since he was a kid, and also caused his parents to use him as a means of achieving higher status and wealth within the family. To achieve this, his parents would force Yuki to spend most of his time with the head of the family, Akido Soma. Yuki suffered a lot of abuse from Akido, eventually causing him to leave the main house behind and move in with Shigure. All of this culminates in Yuki putting on a kind of princely persona at school. He's the perfect student and has a literal fan club that worships him as Prince Yuki. In other words, he's a people pleaser. Akido instilled this idea in Yuki that no one actually likes him for who he is, so he just becomes someone entirely different. To cope with his insecurities, Yuki puts on this mask of the cool Prince Yuki, but deep down, he just wants to escape the chains of the Soma family and live a normal life where he can be himself. These desires are also what lead to Yuki's main external conflict aside from Akido, his rivalry with Kyo Soma. Kyo is cursed by the cat zodiac. Again, going back to the story of the zodiac from earlier, the cat was the one excluded from the banquet after being lied to by the rat, missing his chance to be included in the yearly cycle of the animals. As the cat is not considered a true member of the family for this reason, Kyo has been ostracized and treated as an outcast by the family all his life. Basically, the exact opposite of Yuki. Where Yuki wants nothing more than to cut ties with the Soma family, all Kyo wants is to be included in the family. The years of being ostracized culminates for Kyo as anger. He lashes out a lot and doesn't know how to express his feelings properly. Kyo doesn't know how to deal with all of his complicated feelings except by directing his anger at someone. Yuki. As a kid, Kyo saw Yuki as the person to blame for his exclusion. Of course, this blame doesn't make much sense, but it was the logic of a hurt kid looking for a reason for his feelings. And because of the Zodiac story, Yuki seemed like the most obvious target. Kyo picks fights with Yuki and uses him as a scapegoat to cope with his own insecurities, which causes Yuki to reciprocate similar feelings with Kyo. Yet, what neither of them realizes is the source of their feelings: jealousy. Neither of them can understand the other because both have exactly what the other wants and can't understand why they'd want to give it up. Alternatively, why would the other want exactly what has caused them so much suffering? Yuki is part of the family, but at the cost of his individuality and mental health. Kyo can connect with people outside of the Soma family and be a normal kid, but at the cost of not being accepted by the only people he wants to accept him. They use this rivalry with each other to cope with their jealousy on top of their internalized childhood trauma. Feelings are scary, and sometimes it's a lot easier to blame someone else for them. Finally, let's talk about the one who used her kindness and caring nature to help these two come to terms with their pasts. Toru Honda. Toru is the main protagonist of the show and has an inspiringly compassionate and kind outlook on life. This doesn't mean she's without her struggles and hardships, however. She puts others before herself, to a fault. She was a kid forced to grow up too fast after losing her dad at a very young age and helping her single mom cope with the loss. And deep down, she was lonely, dealing with everything on her own, putting on a brave face for her mom's sake. Then she lost her mom in a tragic accident. Toru is a deeply compassionate and empathetic person, which only made dealing with the loss of her mother even harder for her. As it's revealed in the first episode, the day her mother died was the one day Toru wasn't awake to see her off to work and say, "See you when you get back." That devastated her, and stuck with her. Toru wears her heart on her sleeve. Her kindness is real, but eventually her brave face has to fall for a moment. Toru has cared for others her whole life, and at a certain point, that gets exhausting. She tearfully admits to Kyo that the way she acts started as a way to get her mother to notice her after the loss of Toru's father. It was her way of coping with the fear of losing another loved one. But through it all, she never lost the light that the time she had with her mother gave her, and instead chooses to share it with others. She gives a piece of that light to every single member of the Soma family, and especially touches the lives of Yuki and Kyo. She gives them just the patience, kindness, and courage that they needed in order to confront their pasts and grow as people. There is a lot to unpack with the characters in Fruits Basket. So much that I can't fit into this video if I wanted to get it done. I just hope I was able to provide a glimpse into the psyche of some of my favorite characters and show an appreciation for the beautiful writing of this beautiful show.